Okay, so here is the basic process of inputting songs into Planning Center, downloading them into Playback, which is the program you use to control all the backing for multi-tracks, and also putting the songs into ProPresenter. So both computers, this computer in the tech room and the iPad, which stays up front to control multi-tracks, they're linked together first of all with what's called a Midi. And so the Midi will look just like this. If it ever has an issue, it'll look just like this keyboard. And you always want to make sure that it's up and running, so make sure that you don't exit these out, you just minimize them. There's also what's called a Midi Studio, and when you pull the Midi Studio up, if you ever can't find it, you can always go up here to the audio Midi setup and you can actually pull the Midi Studio from right here. Once you have it up, there's what looks like a network. You can open it up. When you do, you'll see all the devices that are currently on the same network, and you'll see which one's connected. If you ever just click on it, which the computer back here is the Pro 7, which is ProPresenter, and just hit connect, you'll have this over here where it shows it's connected, and you'll see the IP address and everything else. You have to make sure these stay open. They must just be minimized and not closed out. So they'll stay down here running at the bottom. The same thing applies to this computer as well. If I were to go down here, you'll see these are actually already open, and the MacBook is connected from here, so they have to be talking to each other. So this one would say ECM Worships MacBook Pro, and here you'll see where they're connected. So once again, we'll minimize this one to leave the program up and running. So as of right now, both of these computers are able to talk to each other through Midi. Okay, so the process of actually putting songs in. So typically I put in Wednesday and Sunday. I've already put in Wednesday, but the process is still the same. So I'm going to show you how to do Sunday. So you'll go down to the Safari, open it up. The first thing you have to do is put the songs into Planning Center. So we're going to pull up, a lot of times you can see here it's already the frequently visited. If not, you can just type in the search and put Planning Center and it'll come up. We'll go to the login. If you cannot log in, and actually I'll log out so you can see this, my email and password is already saved in this computer, and then just go to sign in. And then once you're in here, you want to take the home, it's got a drop down, go to services, and it's going to come up to the different profiles that we have already set in here. Like I said, I've already done Wednesday, but we'll go and we'll do Sunday. So Sunday is under weekend services. You'll go to the first day at the top, which will be the next available date. In this case, I'm doing July 21st. And this is what the page is going to look like when it comes up. What you want to do is go to this top right side over here where it says Matrix, and click on the Matrix. From here, you're going to see every Sunday service across the top, and it's going to have the order of the services down here. So what we want to do is go over to Song, hold down on the mouse and drag it over and put it under the Welcome Greeting. And then when you do that, a box is going to come up over here. It's going to ask you to select a song. If it's a song that we've done in the past, you can just type it in and it's going to automatically populate it. If it's the first time we're doing the song, you'll have to type new. I can show you what that looks like. It'll come up and ask you to enter the song. And typically once you start entering it, it'll automatically come up with the songs, and then you click on which one you're going to do. For this case, I'm going to put new songs in. So let me pull the list up here. Okay, picking back up, I had to close it out to pull the list of songs so we can see what we have. So the first song for Sunday is Glorious Day. I'm just going to do this process once, and then if you have questions, just go back and watch how I do this. So once you start typing in, you're going to see anything that's associated with Glorious. That's all I put in here, and I'm looking for Glorious Day. So we'll put the cursor on and click on it, And then in the description, you're going to put who it's led by. If you ever look in Planning Center or the Services app, you always see who's leading a song. This is where that information comes from. So we'll put, in this case, it's Shelly. So led by Shelly. And then the key is in here. I think that's the right key. If not, I can go back and change it. And then what you want to do to pull the song in to have multi-tracks is we want to go to Song. There's these tabs here. Go to Edit Song. And this page is going to come up. And so what it's doing is it's pulling the popular item, which we've done this song in the past, so there's already one here. But I'll show you what the process would be if you didn't have this here. So I'm going to choose a different recording just for purposes of this. And so this is what it would come up with. So it's going to come up with all these different options. And if you ever want to like listen to them, just click on the button and it'll start playing. And it'll kind of give you like a, I don't know, 30-second or so preview of the song. So in this case, this is who we want to do the song by is Passion. So you go over here and hit the plus sign and it checks it and adds it. So this is what we're going to use. Then you're going to go back after you've selected the song. You're going to hit Files, Integrations, and it's going to come up with all these boxes here. And what these are is this is going to give all the original audio, the lyrics to the song map for the musicians, everything for the rehearsals for the keys and the chord charts. So we want to go through, we want all these items. So we're going to select every one of them. And then we're going to hit Submit. And then after we do so, this box here should come up saying that it's preparing the import of the chart profiles and preparing import of the rehearsal mixes. And if you saw it just there, it said it was completed. So what that did is it gave us all these arrangement options, the song map and the original mix we talked about. And then in the key it's in, it gave us all the chord charts, all the tracks. If you go down here to more, you'll see everything down here. So all the keys, the piano, the electric guitar, so all the practicing stuff that everyone can listen to. So this is what that process looks like. So once you get done with it, just simply go to the top, hit the back arrow, and it'll bring you back to the matrix again. And so from there, you'll just take the next song, you'll drag it over into the next, whichever place you want it in, and we'll select the song again and continue the process on. So I'll come back once we're done with this and we can follow back up. Okay, so we now have all of our songs in here. So as I showed in Glorious Day how I put that in, I just repeated the same process for the next songs, In Jesus' Name, Made for More, and Gratitude. And so now what we want to do is we're going to take and we need to set the teams up. So we're going to go back to Services, and we're going to go back to the weekend, July 21st coming up. And then what we're going to do is click on Teams up here. And you're going to see all the different teams. And then if you take and slice over, you put 2 fingers on here and just drag to the left, it will move the page over. There's not a bar down here. This is what you have to do to move on an Apple. And so you see all the different teams of people that we have. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up who's going to serve. So we'll go through these and I'll show you how you do this. So technical art, so this would be the front of house sound person. So in this case it's going to be me. So I'll click on it, click my name, and I'm going to hit add one. And then I'm going to go back and choose the person for ProPresenter. In this case it's going to be Shannon. So I'll click next to Shannon's name and add one. And then once I have these spots filled, it's going to go away and it'll have a question mark here because it's waiting on the individual to confirm it. If you put someone's name in here and you have an issue and you need to take them out, all you have to do is just hit this remove button, and then it'll come back up and give you an open spot again, and you can click on someone else or whatever if you need to. So we'll go up here and you're going to hit send. And this is what the default email will look like. And so you don't have to do anything with this. When it goes to the individual, it will have all the correct information in there to have their name and everything else. And so, of course, it's going to myself and to Shannon. And we'll hit send to. It's going to say messages sent. And up here you'll see the message went away. In this case, I'm logged into Planning Center, so it's automatically going to come up here and ask me if I'm available. With me being here, I'll go ahead and hit submit. If you log into yourself in here and go to put these in, it'll do the same thing. Okay, so next we want to do the band. So the band always has people already in it, and it'll always be the same people. If there's a case where you have to put a different person in place, like sometimes, for instance, I play keys sometimes, I'll go in here and remove myself, and if I hit remove, it'll come back up and give you the one needed, and it'll come back and ask you which person you want to select. If there's a person in here or a person that you need that's not in here, you can always go in here and search their name and then add them there. If they do not come up, then they have to be added to Planning Center. Most people should be in here though. So in this case, I'll put Miss Wilma back in here because she is the one playing keys for this date. And you'll see her name's back in here. So we'll go to send. It's going to ask to send something to all the recipients. We're not going to worry about clicking anything. This is all default. We'll go to next. The default email. And each individual will start getting an email on these. And then next we're going to go over to the vocals. So these are all the people that'll be singing. As you can see, Miss Wilma's already in here. It's by default. If she's not going to be here or is not singing, then you can take her name off. Majority of the time, though, her name will be in there. So for this weekend, I have Scarlett singing a song, Shelly singing a song, Melissa's not singing, Mel's not singing, but she is going to be on the stage as well. Connor is singing, and it doesn't give me a person to add for another spot. So I'll show you how to do this. So we're going to add these 4. And then I'm going to go up here to the drop down, and where it says needed positions, if we go up here to vocalist, you see how it's saying 0 because it already filled in what it thought it needed. I want to add one more. So we'll select the one and done, and now it's going to give me one more spot. So now I'll go over here and I'll select Kimberly, which was the next person that I needed, and add her. So now I have all the lead singers, Miss Wilma on the keyboard singing, and Mel, who's not leading the song, but she's going to be on stage anyways. And then we'll send these. You'll see everybody's names come up. Yes, it doesn't have their emails. They're already in the system, so you don't have to worry about that. And then we're going to go over to the video production. So we no longer have to have anybody for the audio. That position is no longer needed since we moved all the sound material. However, we need someone to do the cameras. In this case, I know that Jason will not be here. Bryson served last weekend, and so I'm going to ask Lori to do these. And so we will send this to Lori. Okay, so now all these positions are filled. As people accept them, you will see a check mark come with their name and they'll be green. If they cannot serve, there will be a line through their name like this one here is, which means they're wanting to be blocked out. If there's a line through their name when you go to select them, they're not available, you should select someone else. The question mark, of course, means that they still have not answered the request to serve. So that is how you put teams into Planning Center. This is how people get their invites when they get them. From there, you can come back to the home page. It'll also tell you the last person that's updated this as well. So you'll see my name here where I was just in these. My name's in these other ones just from setting these templates up a while back. So this process is the same for any of these. Wednesday nights, if we have a special service, we can make templates for them. But every one of these are the same. So, and I'll give you an idea. I actually just got a decline. So let me go back in here because I need to change this. Lori actually just declined this. And so I know Jason isn't here. So I'm going to ask Bryson to do these again. So Actually, what I'm going to do, so since I know she's declined it, well, I'll just leave it in there just for video purpose sake. So I'm going to go back in here and ask Bryson again if he'll do them again this week. And then we'll send it. Okay. This is also good training for somebody if you're not going to be here to put a block out date, because then it keeps the person from selecting your name. If not, they don't know. So like in this case, I selected Lori. I didn't know that she wouldn't be here. No big deal. Just it's for training purposes, it's a good thing to know too. All right, so we're done with Planning Center. So I am going to exit out, and then I want to show you Playback, because now we're ready to actually put songs in Playback. And I close this out for a reason, so that way you can see the home page. So down here at the bottom is the Playback icon. If you just click on it, you can open the program up. Typically when you open this, they're already the program will already be up and running from services, but just for video purposes I'll show you. So the way that Multitracks works is we rent our songs. We do not purchase them. We are allowed so many rentals on a yearly basis. You'll see, I just opened it, it says we have 68 rentals available. Now it's asking me if I want to renew all these songs. We just did these, and they're getting ready to expire in 23 hours. These are Sunday songs, and so we're not going to use these, so I'm going to hit later. I don't want to renew them. Obviously, they're still highlighted, and they're still active, but we will lose these in 23 hours. They're good for 1 week. So what I want to do is, since we put the songs in Planning Center, it will automatically pull from Planning Center and tell us and allow us to import it over into Multitracks or into Playback. So you're going to go up here to this option with the 3 lines and the music symbol, and we're going to go down to Import from Planning Center. And then just like what it shows in services into Planning Center, it shows the same thing in Playback. So we want to go to the weekend services. July 21st, it'll show any upcoming. And then it's going to show the 4 songs we just put in there. We're going to hit open. And then here, I want to show you, so I hit open and it's asking me to load, but see how it says there's 0 songs? What you have to do is hit, and I don't know why this is, hopefully maybe one day they'll do an update and this will correct, but you want to delete the set list from the account. It's going to ask you if you're sure. Yes, we want to delete it. And then I'm going to back out to where the original message was. I'm going to go back to weekend services. And I'm going to do this again, but see now it says import. It's going to actually allow me to import the songs in. So I want to select import. It's going to ask me if I want to load them. See now it shows the 4 songs and the full time. So I'm going to load them. It's going to ask me if I want to save the set list. Yep, we'll save it. I don't have to put a name in here, just hit save. And then it's going to come up and ask me what I want to rent. So one of the songs we still have on rent that I didn't renew. So we'll have to go back and renew it. But the other 3 songs are all new songs. So you have the option. You can either select the click and the guide. They are free. They don't cost us anything. If you want it, you just click on it. If you rent it, then you get everything. So all the bass, the drums, everything that's in the song. We always select to choose to do the rent. Unless there's some special occasion where we're just practicing a song. We're not going to actually do it. So we're going to rent it. It's going to ask me if I want to use the 3 rentals. Continue. It's then going to ask you to confirm it. So you're going to use 3 of the 68 remaining rentals that you have. Yes, I know. We want to rent. And then from there, the songs are going to begin loading. And we have an error. So we'll address that in a minute. So, and you'll see the bar. It'll just slowly go across. There's actually a couple of them going here. Once I get done with these, I'll see if I can renew this one too for this video. We'll try this again in a minute, but you see this one over here is just thinking it's not wanting to download. In this case, what I will probably do is try to close the program out and restart it. Sometimes that works. If it doesn't work, then I've had to shut down the computer and start it back up. Okay, so these 3 songs are loaded. While I'm here, I want to try and see if I can renew this song. In order to do that, you're going to hit edit, go to the song, and I think it allows you to renew it in here. I could be wrong. No, I don't see it. I was hoping it would. Well, either way, it will ask you to renew it once it expires, which is no big deal. So, yeah, see, now it showed me there's a song error. There's an error trying to download the song. Yep, I got it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the program out. You can't just hit exit because Apple doesn't actually close. So what you do is go up here to Playback and actually hit quit Playback. And that like literally shuts it down completely. And then go back in and open it. And see, now it's asking me, okay, so it's asking me now if I want to renew the rent. Yes, I do want to renew it. I know I got it for another week. Yep, I know I'm renting it. And then this one, okay, so it's been renewed. And then this one came up now and asked if I want to rent it again. It never actually rented it before because it didn't load it. So now I'm going to try it again. Rent the selected song. And see if, oh, there it goes. See, now it's actually loading. So it worked correctly this time. And there it is. It's done. Okay, so now we have all 4 of our songs in Playback for Sunday. So this process is exactly the same for Wednesday. So I'm just going to show one for now. I'm just going to show Sunday. Okay, so once the songs are in, there's these options up here in between each song. You can see these errors. What they mean is it will either cue the next song, it'll stay in the song it's in once it's done, the pad will continue, you can auto-link them, you can overlap them together, or you can crossfade. One will get quieter, the other one will come in. So what we always use is auto-link. And what does that mean? So that means that when this song ends, this one automatically starts. Nobody has to touch anything. The songs just automatically continue. So we do this for every song, all the way through. And then when we get to the last one, it has in here to go back to the first song. And, well, we like to stay in the song. So that way when it ends, it just finishes right here. It doesn't go all the way back and start all the way over again. So once it gets to the end, it'll stop, and there it is. Okay, so once you have the song completed, what we want to do then is we want to make edits to it. The first one being is that every one of them should have an option at the bottom here. And like I said, 2 fingers on the mouse pad, just slide over. And all of your instrumentation is in here. So one thing we don't want background vocals playing through the sound. We also know that we're going to have a piano player. We're going to turn that down. We leave it turned up just a little bit, just for a little bit of noise. But other than that, nobody will hear it. And then we leave all the other ones up. Typically, on the day of practice, depending on which musicians we have, we'll turn these off completely. Instead of having to drag them down, all you do is go down and click on the actual instrument, and it'll gray out just like this, which means it's turned off. So that's how you actually control the sounds. We do always turn the guide up, though, because it'll allow the artist or the vocalist and the musicians to hear the cues in their ears better. Okay, so we'll do that for each song. So we'll go through and highlight each song. We'll turn the guide up. Well, let me make sure there's no background vocals. I know we don't want that. Yeah, see, this one's got an orchestra, an alto, background. Nope, we don't want none of that. This one doesn't have any. Well, we got to turn the piano down. I don't think I did that on the last one either. And then we're going to turn the guide up. Yep. And turn the piano down on this one. Nope, there is not one. The guide's already turned on. Then we'll go to the last one, do the same thing again, turn the guide up. We're going to turn the piano down. We don't want the vocal effects. And the strings, we're going to turn them down some too, because the strings can sometimes get kind of loud and overbearing. So Okay, so we've adjusted every one of them. So now what we want to do is we want to make multi-tracks. When these songs play, we want to make the words change in ProPresenter so nobody has to sit here and actually click on each word or each line item. So in order to do that, we have to tell it what to do. So we're going to go to Edit, and it's going to come up with all these songs. It's going to give you these 3 dots here. This means to delete the song. This means that you want to make edits to the song. So we're going to look at the first song, and it's going to come up with an option. So what we want to do, and this is another thing too, if you ever need to change the key of a song or the tempo, you can just come here and you can change the key. In this case, it'll tell you the original, which is what we're doing it in, and you can also change the tempo. You can also select when you want to start or end it, or if you want to put a fade out on it so it doesn't play all the way through the end. And these should always be selected. Start pad with the song, there should always be that in there. I don't ever mess with these unless it's for a special occasion. So what we want to do is lyrics. So you'll see this Midi out. We talked about Midi earlier. On the lyrics bus, we want to go to a 2-line template. We always want our lyrics to have 2 lines on the screens. And then in the ProPresenter playlist, it's asking me which playlist we're going to use. So it's going to be playlist 1, and I'm going to go over here and show you why that is. So on our ProPresenter computer, we're going to go over here and you're going to see playlist. So this is the playlist for Sunday. And so it's the first item that's in the playlist. If you were to do Wednesday, you would select 2. In this case, I'm doing number 1. It's number 1 playlist. So I'm going to go back over here to playlist. I'm going to click on 1. Then I'm going to go down to the playlist item. So the playlist item means how far down the line is this song in the playlist. So we'll go back over here. I'll show you this. So the item is this here. See how it shows there's 8 items? So these are last week's songs. So I'm just going to delete these out real quick. So delete. For this, I'm going to leave this one because I know I got to do that song again. Delete, delete. PG's message, he'll send another one for the upcoming one, so we'll delete this one too. Okay, so you have 4 items in there, and you're probably like, well, there's only 3 things there. Correct. The announcements count as 2 items. The reason why is because there's so much in it, they count as 2 items. Then you have your extras, which is all the timers and stuff like that that's in there, any kind of extra announcements. And then you actually get to your songs. So in this case, the first song would be number 3. 4 items, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, it'd be number 4. I'm incorrect. Number 4. Your first song is going to be number 4. So what you're going to do is come back to your first song that's actually in multi-tracks, and it's going to ask you for the playlist item. Well, our first one is going to be number 4. And then we want to refresh the MIDI cues, and then select update. When I did that, if you noticed, these little marks come up on here. This means that on every one of these spots, it's going to send a new cue. So these are actually cues going to ProPresenter. So we'll go to the next one. Same thing. It'll come up with your edit item. We're going to go down to the lyrics bus. We're going to select the 2-line template. It's the playlist number 1 because it's Sunday. And in the playlist item, we already chose 4. So just going in line, we're going to choose number 5. In order to get this to slide to, just use 2 fingers on this, and you can make these bars go up and down. And then refresh the MIDI cues. And you'll notice when I hit update, it's going to have those hash marks come up on the bottom of the song. There they are. They just populated up. So now it's sending cues on every one of those. So we'll go to the next song. Select the song so it highlights it. Select the 3 dots. Same thing again. We're going to go down to the lyrics bus. 2-line template. It's a lot of repetitious stuff. Playlist item number 1. Playlist number 1. And item is going to be 6 this time. So 4, 5, 6. We'll finish on 7 in this case because we're doing 4 songs. Refresh the MIDI cues. Update it. And here's all of our hash marks. Then we'll go to the last song. Same thing again. 2-line template, playlist item number 1, or playlist number 1 and item number 7. Refresh the MIDI cues and update, and you'll see these are all done. Now I'm just going to go back to the first one. I'm going to hit done. You'll see there's this little reddish orange dot up here. When you see that, it's because it hasn't saved the information. Just hit save to cloud here. It'll ask you to put a name on it. You don't have to worry about it. Just hit save. That dot will go away. We'll need this later on, so make sure that you do that at the end of this. So all the songs are now in playback for Sunday, and we have them assigned to ProPresenter. So what we need to do now is we need to actually put the songs in ProPresenter. So I still have one of them in here, even though it's not in the right order. So what I'm going to do is go up here to search, and it's going to come up with this box. When you have this box here, you have to make sure that this item over here is selected. This one is the actual ProPresenter library. This one is actually pulling information from multi-tracks. And so the next song that we want to do is Glorious Day. And you'll see it come up there. It'll have who it's from, just like we selected earlier in Planning Center. We'll select it. It's going to ask. And if you ever have to question it, see the picture? The picture matches the same as what the song is. So you know you're getting the same song. And then we're going to go to import. It's going to ask me if I want to import the song, the name. And then what I usually put in these names is I'll usually type in here multi-tracks. Reason I do this is just so that way I can keep up with them if I ever go to search them. I know it's actually multi-tracks. If you ever need to change the key, you can also change the key here. It's not a primary thing. You don't have to do it because it's just playing the lyrics. And then when you select import, make sure that you have the correct playlist selected. So in this case, I want to be on Sunday, and then import. And then when I do, oh, there it is right there. So I want to make sure it's obviously in the right thing, in the right order. If you just take and hold your cursor on it, you can then drag it up into the item that you want. So I want it to be the first song. It matches what I chose earlier. And then we'll go back to search again. It's going to give me my box. In this case, I need In Jesus' Name. And we're choosing God of Possible. And like I said, same picture. We'll go to import it. I'm going to type multi-tracks in here. Now if you see this, it says this presentation with this name already exists in the library. So in other words, it's already in the library. I don't have to actually choose it from multi-tracks. But I'm going to change the name like I talked about, multi-tracks. Oh, and look, see it says I already have one in the library. So now if that's the case, I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to go back to search because this means I actually already have one in here. And where I showed you earlier, it already has this ProPresenter file. I'll go in here. So see how I already have this one In Jesus' Name? And it'll give me the same options again. And this time I'm going to hit add to playlist. And it'll automatically put it in the playlist over here for me. So this way I'm not having to go in there and add another song. It's already there. That's why I like to tag these with the names. So that way I know that these are multi-track songs that we're doing. The next song is Made for More. It was already in here. And then our last song is Gratitude. And it may actually already be in the library. I'm going to check. Yep, there it is. Gratitude multi-tracks. So same thing. I'm going to add it to the playlist. And there it is. Song's there. So now we have all of our songs in. And you'll see now there's 7 items. So just like I talked about, it's number 4, 5, 6, 7 when you put them into multi-tracks or into playback. So now, since I have these set up, I should be able to go over here and click on my song, and if I did everything correctly, the lyrics should start changing in ProPresenter. So I'm going to start playing it, and you'll hear it's going to
vamp 2, 3, 4.
Let's go over here and let's see if it does it. So you see it, you heard it say vamp. Let's see if it switches to verse 1 when it says
verse 2, 3, 4.
There it goes. So I know now that my MIDI is connected. I know that the computers are talking to each other. and I know that my item is set correctly in the playlist. So that's just an easy way to do it. Once you're done, you just select the song you want to play, hit the play button, and it'll start.
2, vamp, 2, 3,
and it'll
4.
start playing. Like I said, at every one of these hash marks, it's going to send a new cue. So I don't know if you can see this, but as soon as it gets to the next cue, yep, see, it just went past it. So that's how you can watch this and see. When you turn this off, when you hit the pause button, just click the pad. You'll hear the pad going. It's lit up. You can just turn it back off. So that is how you set the songs in Playback and in ProPresenter and have them talking to each other. So once I get Wednesday night put in, which I'm going to do, I'll come back and I will show you how to hook the laptop back up. It plugs up at the front of the stage. Typically I do this in the sound booth. That way I can have both computers here together and walk through it. So we'll catch back up in a minute. Okay, so now that we have all the songs put in, we've finished everything with the MacBook, we're going to hook it back up in the system. So this is how it actually plays out in the sanctuary. So over here on top of this box by the drum cage, you'll set the laptop back over here. There's a charger plug right here. It's just magnetic. It'll go in there to light up green. There is a headphone jack, 3.5mm plug. In the side here is a port it goes into. Just push it all the way and it'll show it's connected. There you go. And then you always want to make sure the volume is turned all the way up on this, so it's this top right. And it'll show you it's all the way up. And then we just leave this open. It's not going to hurt anything just to sit here. So that's completed. So what we need to do now is on the stage, we may have to come back and forth for this. So on the stage you have a couple of, well, 3 tablets. So the piano has a tablet, the electric guitar player has a tablet, and the bass guitar has a tablet. And so what we're going to do is, if you look on here, so the bass guitar is typically the one that controls the tracks in 90% of the cases. So right now it says the remote connection has failed, and you notice on the screen it looks just like the MacBook we were just looking at. So what you want to do, we may have to go back over to the computer to turn these on. In fact, we'll go ahead and do that. So that one looks like that. I'll show you these other 2. This one and the one on the keyboard, they are just showing the chord chart and the song. And they automatically scroll as the song is being played from the system. So we'll come back to these in a minute, but I'll show you on the MacBook like what you have to do once these are connected. And I'll show you how you test this too to make sure it's working. So we'll come back over to the MacBook. And on here, we're going to take our cursor and go over here. Move the screen back. We're going to go over to these 3 lines and click on this. And if you see here, you'll see where it says Playback Sync and Playback Remote. So we're going to click on these. First, we're going to do Playback Remote. It's going to ask me if I want to allow remote connections. And this is the host device. You may not be able to read that. Yeah, there you go. Host or remote. This is the actual host. We're going to allow remote connections. Okay, and it's going to tell me what it looks like. So it's discoverable as MacBook Pro, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to hit the back arrow. So you see now it's green. And then I'm going to go to Playback Sync. I'm going to click on it. And all I got to do is just click on it. Now it's green as well. So both these items are turned on. And I'm going to close that back out. So now we'll go back to our tablets. And first we're going to do the bass guitar tablet. The one that had the remote connection failed on it. And so you see it looks just like what we were just looking at on the MacBook. It's just an easier version to control with a tablet. And so just like the MacBook, we're going to click on the 3 lines. And it asks about Playback Remote. So in this case, this item is the remote controller. So just like your TV at home or anything else, you have something that remotely controls. And the available device is the ECM Worship Mac 15.3. We want to click on that. And now it's going to tell me it's loading the set list. And so there's our songs for Wednesday night now. And if I were to go to the MacBook and change the songs to Sunday, it'll automatically change here. So you'll see the red up here. This means it's actually connected. So what I could do is, like where this song's selected, I can play this. And right now, if I were to go turn the Sanctuary sound system on, this would be playing. So I'll just stop and go back, turn the pad off. So this one is set up. Now I want to go to our electric guitar and the piano tablet. Both these are the same. And so what I want to do first is I want to close this app out. You have to do this. This app is called Chart Builder, and this is just one of the things you have to do to it. With an Apple, if you take your finger from the bottom and just drag up a little bit, it'll show you what applications you have open. I want to take Chart Builder and just slide up and close it. I'm actually going to close out this App Store too. Once it's closed out, I'm going to open it back up. And then down here at the bottom, you'll see this screen come up with all these set lists. I'm not worried about that right now. Click on Account. It's going to come up with all these options. This is already logged in. You don't do anything with this. Touch Playback Sync, and you'll see there's our ECM Worship MacBook again. We're going to touch it. It's going to automatically start pulling in the set list. And so there's our set list. If you look at this top right corner, you'll see that green arrow again with a circle around it, just like we saw on our MacBook. That will tell me that this tablet right now is connected to our MacBook. And so what happens with this, and I'll show you in a minute, is once I start the song, it's going to highlight around each box as it's going through it. And that'll tell me, and this will start scrolling, telling me that this is progressing with the song. So if somebody's playing, they can sit here and look at the chord charts, and it goes with the song. They don't have to keep scrolling or anything. This will automatically do its own thing based on the track that's being played. So we'll do this again. I'll show you the same process for the one on the piano. This one's got a white background, the daylight. So we'll close the app out. I'm going to drag up to actually hard close the app. And then I'm going to open it back up. Again, we're going to touch Account at the bottom. Playback Sync. It's going to give me the ECM Worship Mac up here. It's going to automatically start loading. And then what we're waiting for is for the green arrow at the top, which we have. So this tablet is now connected as well. So from here, we have this tablet connected. We have that tablet connected. Everything is connected to our original MacBook. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to show you. So if I did everything correctly, if I hit this play button correctly, our two tablets at the piano and the electric guitar over here should start automatically scrolling. So let's see what we got. So I'm going to hit play, and let's see. Well, look at there. See how now it's highlighted around the box? And here in just a second, we should see it move to the next box, showing that it's progressing. There it went. So right now, this tablet is following the song, even though you can't hear the song playing. Let's see if this one shows the same thing. Yep. See, this one's highlighted around. So that's where it's going right now. So that tells me that right now, everything is connected. If I were to go back to the back room, I could see that this song is also playing in ProPresenter right now because it's connected. We did that earlier. So this is how you do the tablet setup. One thing for troubleshooting, we do have a lot of issues with the piano not wanting to connect sometimes. It loses connection. If you touch it, it'll lose connection because it thinks that you're overriding it. So like if I were to go mess with it, there it went. See, it just cut it out. So I no longer have a green arrow. It's asking me now if I want to tap to sync it. So let's make sure it'll sync back. There it went. So it did sync back. If it doesn't, you can just come back and do the same process. Close the app out. Go back, open it up, hit Account, hit Playback Sync, and it'll do the same thing again. If that doesn't work, you have to go back to the MacBook, turn the Playback Sync off, turn it back on, and then reconnect your tablets again, just like you did. You don't have to do it for these two, not for that one. That would be for the playback remote. So at this point, I would say all of our tablets are connected. Our MacBook is set up. It's It looks just like the tablet does up there. I'll pull the screen back. You can also see on here too, at the top here, it shows I have both those items connected to it. If you do not, I know earlier I talked about saving the set list. If you do not have the set list saved, it will not let you turn on the playback sync. So if you look over here on these lines with the symbol, the note symbol, if you see that orange red dot up here in the corner, you have to save that before to let you turn on the playback sync. It will not turn it on if it sees the set list is not saved. It thinks there's an issue. So we'll just kind of close this back a little bit. We'll leave it over here, and at this point we're good. Everything should be set up. All of our devices are connected. We'll go back and look at ProPresenter. Like I said, I had it on Wednesday. We'll go back and make sure it's on Wednesday again. It should all still be there. Yep. See, it was actually playing Believe for It, which is what we chose. You can see where it was in the song. We'll turn that off. And so, there you go. We're done. If anybody has questions about how to turn the lights on the sanctuary through this, just pull up light key here. There's a master here. You just take and slide it up. It'll turn on all your house lights if somebody doesn't know how to do that. So, that's all for ProPresenter, for Playback. That shows you how to get through the whole system. So if you have any questions, please let me know.